So thanks for joining and to share my enthusiastic view about fighting emails. I'll share my small presentation I did. Thanks for the help Dave gave me for preparing this presentation.
You're welcome.
So the Clean Inbox Challenge, or this is really an important challenge for the end of year challenge this year. And I had a lot of questions about that offline after the meeting of last week. In Montrouge, I was in Montrouge, we were celebrating, and I really had an enormous amount of questions about how we do that zero email stuff, why we do it, and so on and so on, and I work in a better way, and so on and so on. So I decided, okay, maybe it was not clear enough, or at least the reason why we do it is not clear enough. So if you have a mailbox a bit like mine, you should feel a bit like this. You try to answer the mails, but the flow gets in every day. You cannot fight it. You cannot really. Okay. Thank you. So if you have a mailbox a bit like mine, you should understand that picture. This is the flow of email I receive every day, 200 emails or more. And of course, email is a really super fast and super cheap way of communicating information or exchanging information. And this is really the media that is used on and on every day long. And this goes in a lot of companies and a lot of usage. It can cause a lot of stress. And this is the presentation I will give you is just some tips and tricks that I'm using every day myself to clean up that mailbox and to manage the stress coming out from email management. And so the method we're going to introduce, it's not my method, it's a method I've learned from priority management. It is an old company. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but it's a method that is summed up in 4 Ds. We're going to explain every single one of the Ds later on. And this proves, at least in my own personal case, to be really efficient for managing an email box and for managing the stress around the mailbox. So why is it important to have a clean mailbox, in my opinion? First of all, you don't have to reread the same emails again and again and over again to find out the ones that need your attention. How many of you guys are clicking on mark this email as unread? So this is typically something you see the email and you say, okay, no, this is something I need to do later on. And so you close the email and you right click on the email, you say mark as unread. So the number of clicks you're doing is really not useful. And this also generates a lot of inefficiency. So you lose a lot of time clicking on that, and this method is really to avoid clicking on that and to really read the email just once, or at least a minimum amount of number of times. And of course, you can convert, we will see that in a moment, any email to an Efficy task, and Efficy will alert you when you actually have to do the task. And normally, if you apply that method correctly, you should have a clean mailbox, of course, but most of it you should be less stressed and have no stress related to your inbox whatsoever. Clicking, okay. So the 4D methods. The first D is delete. So when you see an email that you shouldn't look at, like advertising for something you really don't want or not interesting enough, you should really delegate it right away. Delete it from your mailbox, not even class it or anything like that. You just delete the email. If it's not spam or a mail unwanted, the first question you should ask yourself is, am I the right person in this organization at Efficy to do this email, or is there anyone in the organization that is better or that is more trained for that task, or this is more the job of that person. So let's say I receive an email concerning a lead attribution. I will forward it, or I will create a task for my colleague Dylan that needs to attribute and to qualify that lead. I will not try to answer the email myself. I will delegate it to the right person in the organization. So this is the second thing. So the first, should you delete it? Yes, you delete it. Second, should you do it yourself? No, you delegate it to the right person in the company. And I will come back on how to delegate it in a right way. The third question you should ask yourself is, should I delay it? So is it something I really need to do now? Some emails are difficult to manage rapidly. And so maybe you want to reserve some room in your agenda to manage that email. And the fourth D is really the last option. It is the do one. So if you can't delay it, if you can't delegate it, if you can't delay it, well, maybe you have to do it. And so it can be done for mails that can be handled rapidly, but also urgent emails that need an answer. So it is really basics. The first D, you find something not interesting, not relevant for you or the company, you delete it. That's really fast. Second method is to delegate an email. So normally, if your colleague works well with Efficy, with our own Efficy, with Submariners, and you receive an email that is not for you, and if you are a friendly colleague, you should transform that email into a task, attribute the task to the colleague. So in my example, I receive a lead. I transform the lead into a task, and I attribute this task to Dylan. This is the right way to delegate a task in Efficy. This way, your colleague can replan it as he wants. And this is more friendly than just forward the email. Of course, if you really have an overload mailbox, you can still forward, but it is not really colleague friendly because your colleague will then have to transform the email to task. The task will not recognize the client automatically, will not recognize the users automatically, and so on. So it's better if you can do it to transform it to a task. So this is the second D. The third D is to delay an email. So let's say you are requested to do something, but it's not urgent, and you have other things to do or other things planned in your agenda. You should delay it. You should say, okay, I will put it in my task list or in my agenda, but not today. I will do it within a week or within convenience for myself. So don't do everything at the same time, or don't do everything today. It doesn't make any sense. Some tasks or some emails are for later. So convert that task to an agenda item for yourself and convert it to a task if you prefer to work with tasks. Why to convert it, and why don't you just leave it into the inbox? It's because we first we want to share the information. We want the colleagues to be able to refine the information should you be sick or anything else. But also we are really sure about the fact that an empty mailbox is the must, and that is really the goal, or one goal we should reach. And the third one, the fourth one, sorry, is basically the do. So some emails you really have to do, and you can't do later. You really have to do it now. It can be done for emails that are really rapidly handled. So if you have an email and you can answer it in like 2 seconds, answer it. It's not necessary to create a task or to save the email. Maybe it is important to save the email, but maybe not. Just answer the email, push it, and click to done. So transfer the email to your done mailbox. And we'll come back to with a real life example later on. So this is an example of how to answer, if you can answer quickly. But even if it is not an email that can be answered quickly, but it is not to delete, not to delegate, or not to delay, you will have to do it, even though it might take you a few minutes or even more. to do. And on the right side of the screen, you have my personal mailbox. And you see, and this is something I really want to insist on as well. You see on the left part of the screen, I only have 4 folders in my Outlook. Well, I have a bit more. I will show you later on with the live demo, but I have only 4 mailbox folder, so that I'm using on a daily basis. First, the inbox, of course. Second, the sent items, which I'm using for obvious reasons. Then the done. I'm gonna explain you how to do the stuff with done. And the 4th folder is doc. It's Efficy doc, basically. It is a way that you can transform an email into a document being offline. And I'm using that a lot because I'm traveling a lot, like you know all. So when I need to transform something in my document, but I'm on a train or in a plane, I just slide or take the email and put it into the Efficy doc folder. But this is everything I have. And I know some of you guys are champions of recreating some kind of clever, sophisticated tree structure in your Outlook. I know some examples, but this is really a lot of investment of yourself, and this is not really needed for the company nor for organizing your own work. So let me show you maybe in a few examples. I will stop sharing this and sharing my screen. Okay. So let's say here, young talent, thank you for the participation. It is bullshit, I just deleted. Easy. Here, it's something how to be efficient with my mailbox. I click on done. Oh. Start mastering, it's something I do not have to do anything. I click on done. Zoom, I click on done. Torpedo meeting, it's on done. Dave, slide said, okay, it's fine, Dave, but I don't need to answer to that. Erwin Vogler, show extranet, okay. This is a small email I can answer in 2 seconds. I say, okay, we won't use this before start of next year. I click on send and I click on done and so on and so forth and so on. If I have something of a client, let's say here it's not a client, but it's Matthias from Fortino. Let's imagine, it is not the case, but let's imagine it's a really important email. I really need to save it or whatever. I just put saving to Efficy, and it will find Matthias, but it will also find maybe some projects or anything like that. And say, you see here, I can say, okay, it's something for the management. I can put the management in there, and you have here your Outlook folder basically. And you click on done, and this is right away classified as well. So this allows me to deal with 200+ email, having a quite heavy agenda, as you may imagine. Here it's from the bank. I can say, okay, Sandra, sorry for you, Sandra. This is to be printed. Prepare documents. Thanks. And then I'm done it. I'm waiting for the documents. So it's really easy. This is the first 2 or 3 Ds, 4 Ds. First I delete. Second I class without even reading it or with really fast reading. Rapidly answer if I can. And if I have to do something more important like this one, for instance, this is he asks me if there is a current balance sheet. I can say, okay, I will convert that to a task. I will do that in my agenda, like Monday morning. I need 15 minutes to do that. So I will put it here in my agenda for 15 minutes from 9 to, let's say, 9:30. And I will update the document by then. But once I've done that, what I do is I'm classifying the document right away. But another really important aspect of managing your email box rapidly and efficiently is that you shouldn't look at your email all the time. So you should look at email several times a day, but not every day and not the whole day long. And you should, the first thing you should stop is the notification of emails. So if you look at my personal email stuff, you will see that even though I'm receiving emails, I do not have a bullet coming in Windows telling me I got an email from you guys, and so it distracts you, and if you get 200 notifications like that every day, it's causing you a lot of stress. So stop that. You need to deactivate the notification right away. No sound, no icon, no notification of any kind. You don't want to be disturbed by your mailbox. You want to answer it, you want to manage it, but you don't want to be disturbed by it. So cut off all notification and apply the 4D method, and you will get to that mailbox. So this is an email I sent to everybody at Efficy the 30th of December 2016 at 6 p.m. And I was having my job as a CEO, so once again 200 email a day easily. And this is my mailbox. This is my actual mailbox. So this was my actual mailbox in 2016. One mailbox, one Efficy done folder, one Efficy doc, follow-up, mail, and task, and no email in my mailbox. It is not a joke. It is really a real-life example. But just to prove you, it's possible even though you have a really big number of emails flowing every day. So why are we putting that in a challenge? So we really think it's going to be less stress for all of you. So more efficiency from all of you. So really think it is a benefit for yourself first, but also for the company. And this is really funny because we have the visit of a colleague, Jappe Kiekens, that left the company like 2 or 3 years ago. And the first thing he did when he started this new job was to install that 4D method for everybody because he finds it so efficient. And well, just for completing the story, he was not the best at managing emails when he was working at Efficy, which is of course a pity. But now it looks like he is improving himself on that aspect. And last but not least, we are offering you a weekend of 2. So you have your own challenges, but as said during the presentation, it's going to be the email challenge is going to be a large part of the global score of everybody. So it's worth definitely to get working like that, in my opinion, and to simplify your mailbox and reduce the stress level. With that, I can take any question you have about this. And hopefully you have ones, because otherwise I cannot always wait for a drink to have questions. Hopefully you can have questions now.
Hello, Geoffroy. Geoffroy Victou.
Hey, Geoffroy.
I have a question with the done. Can you show it again? Because and how it appears and how you create in Outlook to.
Yeah, okay, good question. Yeah. So this is my normal mailbox, which is a small one, but I have the big stuff with all my folder. And you see I have a bit more, so I'm a bit cheating. I have a bit more, but not that many. I have some specific for transaction for Tino and that kind of stuff, but I really have a small mailbox. The Efficy doc, Efficy follow-up, and Efficy mail, those are automated folders that are created automatically by Efficy. So Efficy creates those documents. So let's say, I'm going to show you a bit more.
You need the Efficy drive for that.
Yeah, you need the Efficy sidebar, but if you don't have that, ask to the tech team. But let's say here I have Freya Weiss. She's calling me. and I don't want to read that. So let's say either I delete it, or I can say, okay, I will put it into a task automatically offline. And if I do that, this will appear in my task list in Efficy. Let's take the example of Fabrice. This is something I don't want to read because it's a lot of office stuff. And I have here a button from Outlook, the done, because I'm clicking on done quite a lot. So Outlook knows that I'm doing that all the time. But the first time you need to move to done like this. This is only the first time. Once you do that once or twice, Outlook understands that you do that a lot. And so he puts an extra button here. And you said, okay, it's done. And then the email goes from your inbox to the done folder, which is here, which is containing, like you can see, 200,000 emails. But at least I have an empty mailbox. And so if I want to read the automatic answer of Fabrice again, I can do it. Does it answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
I have another question. This is Stefan speaking. How the checking for the end of your challenge will be done for checking our mailbox or things like that?
Yeah, I'm going to read every single one mailbox of you guys on top of mine. So now we have a script that we will run randomly that will just count the number of emails you have in the mailbox. Count the number of emails and the number of folders. And the date is
you can
not
still
known.
keep some subfolders in the done folder if you want.
No. Well, if you want to be efficient, our advice is to have no subfolder. Any subfolder or clever subfolder should be an Efficy project. So the challenge is really to have an empty mailbox. I'm not sure about we are going to ask everybody to move all their subfolders, because the subfolder jungle is probably not the best way you can organize yourself, but it will take a lot of time to reorganize. So I'm not sure we want to do this for the challenge. The main idea of the challenge is to get an empty mailbox. And of course, for the future, I don't think, and we do not recommend to have your own folder system to do that and to classify, to class the information. Just use Efficy. It's way more efficient. Let's say here, Rafael Cueto. If I want to classify the information, just click here, and it's done. I mean, it's so easy. Why bother? You have everybody directly. If you have a project, you can say it's in the context of Suma takeover, and it's so easy. If you have like 200 folders, it's so inefficient. Other question? Does it answer the question, Stefan?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Hello, Cedric. It's Caroline. I have a question about when you do this by the task list with the e-task. Can it be secured for HR immediately? Because I don't want anyone to see all those things.
No, this is not secured. Sometimes I do that. Well, I'm gonna show you how I deal with it. So it comes in your list, and of course it comes in your list. If you do that with documents, for instance, here I have 3 documents, and there is a little badge. And the little badge tells you transform offline 3 documents, and they're not secured currently.
So do it for HR, because anyone that goes to my list can see the confidential information. Let's be clear.
Yeah, but if it's really confidential, you can't do it. If it's a bit confidential, you can do it, and then when you get to the
can we do a workflow for that for my team?
or yes, Yes. Ask it in the own improvement.
Improvements, own
On
improvement.
improvement, yes.
Maybe I can help with that, answering that question. What you could do is if you have a project, let's say you call it a confidential HR project,
Yeah.
that security on that project, that
Yeah.
everything that is linked to that project will be secured.
Yeah.
And the only thing you need to do then, when you save the email to Efficy, select your confidential project, and then it's secured, your mail.
Yeah. But that is when you do it manually, but not when you use the folder when you're not online with your Efficy.
Yeah, indeed.
No, but when you,
I'm using all the time, Dave.
Yeah.
no, but you can have a special. I said if you do that in your own improvement, you can have a special folder. Let's say Efficy HR, for instance, and and the offline email watcher can watch that specific folder and put it into task, but confidential ones.
Okay, thank you.
But it has to be programmed. It has to be done in the own improvements.
Yeah.
Okay, that's clear.
Any other questions? I have a question. Who is motivated and who thinks is going to win?
I do. But I've been doing this for a couple of years like you, so it's
Maybe we couldn't play.
I couldn't make any examples because my mailbox is empty.
Yeah, well.
I'm trying, but it's more for myself than to win.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing in here. If you do it for yourself, I noticed myself, before I really had stress about the mails because there were so many mails and I kept forgetting things and marking things with flags and colors and every time I kept reading them and I was like, okay, my day starts and I already have a bad feeling because there's 45 mails in my mailbox more. And now you start fresh. Your mailbox only has like a couple of mails to convert, and then it's done.
But I'm doing it for a few days now, or a week since the kickoff, and it works. So I can advise it to everyone.
Yeah, same.
So apart from Dave, nobody thinks he's going to win?
My mailbox is also empty. I have folders, but my mailbox is empty. I have another question. What about the end of year challenge widget? We will be appearing soon or?
Yes, yes. We are still waiting for project metrics. Erwin is going to do that tonight, and also some finance. But Sabine sent me the finance like a few minutes ago, so I think everything is clear. Robert and his team will work on it next week, and so next week I think the widget will be appearing.
Thank you.
I have another question for the emails. When does it start, and will we be able to follow the evolution of it?
Yeah, as I said, we are going to take several moments of measurements, so we will not tell you when, of course, for obvious reasons. And we will follow the evolution, and probably we will take an average of the number of email in the mailbox. Yeah, let's say we do 8 or 10 measures, we will take the average between the 10. Don't cheat. Huh? So cheating is making an Outlook rule to transfer all your emails into the inbox, from the inbox to inbox 2. If you do that, you won't win anything. You can try to be smart, but never underestimate the kung fu of Alexi regarding that kind of stuff. Try. I'm unbeatable to that game. I'm speaking to Laetitia. Yeah, I don't know if you do not have any other question, we can just go for the weekend or for a beer. Or if you have extra question and you don't dare to ask them because it's in English, you can ask them into French or Dutch or Spanish. Well, Spanish I will have a problem to understand, but I can do my best. And if there is no questions, then with that, I will leave it to your weekend and wishing you.
Have a nice holiday to all of you. Oh, not all of you.
We are not in holiday, Caroline. I'm working.
I was working the whole day, but
Next Friday.
that will be a holiday, but not all of you, of course.
I see a question by Akram. So the guide to win point on the end of your challenge, you will have that with the tool that Robert is preparing. So you will have that on the the gamification board. You will not have to do anything. It's going to be quite clear. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to ask your manager or myself. We are definitely available for that.
Thank you, Cedric. So have a nice evening.
And you guys have. I like the last email of Laetitia as well, but don't panic for me. I'm going to be in the top 10. Bye-bye, everybody, and have a nice weekend and lovely holiday if you are taking some. Bye-bye.
Hey, nice weekend.